I bought the cheapest welder that I could possibly find on Amazon. And if you want to see how this piece of junk works, make sure you stick around to the end of the video. This thing looks like it's a spark core. It came in a junk box. It's all beat up. I don't even need another welder. The only reason I bought this is because it was $36. You can't even go out to dinner with 2 people for $36. And we're gonna buy a welder for that? What? I mean, you have to. You have to buy it when it comes up for that cheap. So you got a 200 amp MIG welder. Okay. The model, that's the model. 1 MIG welder. And then the measurements. 200 amp. I mean, can you believe that? I don't know what that is. It's got a ground clamp. Oh, this does stick too. It's got the welding lead. And it looks like it's got one of those really nice $1,000 welding helmets, even with it comes with a toothbrush. All right, let's get this piece of junk out of the box and see if it's actually a welder in there. Probably not. All right, let's start from the top. Work our way down. All right, here's our really high quality welding mask. Woo, I mean, this is great. I mean, I was expecting like one of those, you know, auto darkening ones for what we paid for this thing, but it's all right. Hey, it works. So next up, we have a spool of solid core MIG wire. All right. In this box, we have flux core shielded wire. I have no idea what this is, but if I had to guess what this tube is, I would say this is so you could take your beer and you could set it like 4 feet from like where your welder is. You could stick this in there and you could sip on a nice cold beverage while you're welding. I mean, it's brilliant, really brilliant. Okay, next up, we have a extra liner for this welder. I mean, basically looks like it's just DOT air hose. Nice. Next up, we have a welding lead for our stick welding portion of this thing. Oh yeah. It's actually not bad quality. Look at this. This is actually pretty darn good quality, I gotta say. This is like the junk ones you buy at Tractor Supply. They're not junk though, they work till you drop them. Next up, we have our ground clamp. I wonder if this ground clamp works with the stick and the MIG welder. I don't know. This nice chromey right here. Look at this. I mean, quality. I don't know what this is yet. Maybe we'll find out. Oh, all right. Here's our toothbrush. Wow, beautiful. It's even got a little slag hammer on the other side. Nice top-notch plastic. What we got next? Ooh, look at that. So right here, I guess she does do 220 and 110. This is the power adapter. All right, check this out. This actually don't look too bad at all. Seriously, I paid 36 bucks for this thing. Of course, I had some coupon codes and stuff, but still, look at this. This ain't bad at all. I mean, it's pretty cheap looking, but it definitely looks like a MIG welder. I mean, it's got the nozzle where the gas comes out. Got the gas hookups and everything on this end. I mean, this piece here weighs about 700 pounds, but nice long. I don't even know what this is. This got to be all of 10-foot welding lead. That's real nice because a lot of these junks come with short leads. Beautiful. Look at that. Well, last but not least, looks like we got our welder. Or maybe it's just a mini fridge for the price of what we paid. There. Check it out. Still new in the plastic. All right. Look at this. This is just... This ain't bad, I gotta say. Spark core. Nice silver design. Kind of looks like it came from the future. And oh man. MIG 200. The knobs feel like they're $36. That's all right. This is another thing I like about this. You know, usually these cheap tools, they're actually expensive tools even. They only come with like 3 feet of cord. And it's such a pain in the butt because you gotta go and you always gotta get an extension cord. This thing here has got to have at least 8 to 10 feet of cord. This is great. I mean, that's everybody's dream when it comes to stuff like this. Now, just to give you a little example, a decent welder, a mid-range welder, I would say looks like, is this welder right here. This is my MIG 180. This is a Lincoln, and obviously it has gas because it's a MIG. This is my primary welder. It's a 220, 180 amp, and I am pretty happy with this welder. It's not the best thing you could buy, but it's absolutely not the worst thing you could buy. Definitely pretty cheap, but we're not gonna knock it till we try it here. So this thing here is definitely pretty interesting looking. I'm assuming this is how you get the power to the spool gun or their MIG welder lead right here. But before we go plugging this thing and grabbing a hold of this and getting lit up like a Christmas tree, let's look at some instructions. There we go. That's pretty much exactly what I thought. Okay, so you could do either electrode positive or electrode negative, depending on where you put that. So we got the positive and the negative right here, and this directly goes to the MIG gun. Let's open this thing up and see what it looks like inside. Alright. This actually don't look like it's bad quality. I gotta say, I'm really pretty impressed. I'd be impressed with anything for what I paid for it, seriously. On the back here, we got our gas hookup. So we can hook our argon into there. This basically just plugs in like so. Tighten this collar down. We're in business. I'm really liking the amount of cord that comes with this. This is definitely an advantage. Plug this baby in. All right, nothing blew up. That's good. All right. Oh, there we go. Oh, the little fan kicked on. Oh, we got air conditioning in the garage now. Let's pull the trigger here, see if we get electrocuted. Oh, look at that. Is there a little wheel move? I hear a solenoid clicking, but what do we got here anyway? 18, we got volts, we got wire speed. And we have wire speed, so I would imagine that. Oh, wait a minute. It's like none of these knobs work. Alright. Well, I can't get this thing figured out, so I guess it's time to read the direction. Well, I found the problem. Never kind of seen a switch like this before, but... So if you look up in here, there's an option for a spool gun, and then an option for the actual MIG gun. You can see on here, when we flip that switch, this changes. We can go to stick welding, man welding, whatever that means. I don't know what any of this garbage means. Who cares? We're not professional welders around here. Alright, so now we got her on MIG, and our little wheel spins. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the flux core wire in this, because the flux core you could use with gas or no gas. So this will even take the bigger spools, which is nice. If you'll even get enough welding in to use the bigger spool. I'm already seeing an issue with this. There is no way to tension this spool with the hardware they give us by the looks of it. As somebody that's been welding for years, let me tell you something. You take that wire off right now, this entire garage is gonna fill up with this spool of wire. There's absolutely nothing that they give you to tension this. Let's figure something out here. Handy dandy super duper bag of washers 5 hundo here. We gotta try to move this thing a little bit. Of course, I know what I have to do. Oh yeah, that fits perfect. All right, good. Now we can space this out a little like that. I think we're gonna be in good shape now. Put the spring on there. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna be in good shape. There we go, we got good tension on this now. All right, so I guess that's the only hiccup to make that happen. I'm gonna take our little wheel off. So it says on the spool right here that this is size 0.8 millimeter. We got 0.8, so I think that's where that goes. Now for the most exciting part of anybody that has set up a MIG welder is this breathtaking job of feeding the wire through without making a massive mess. It's absolutely going to ruin your day. Beautiful. Put this down, put that back up. Got some decent tension on our roller. That's interesting. The nozzles usually unscrew. This one's just got some piston rings on it. Nice. I mean, it's working like a MIG welder. I mean, look at this. Beautiful. Flip off our excess. We're pretty much ready to weld. We got our gas hook up. Hopefully it's the same as that one. I'm gonna try that thing right out with gas. We're gonna go all in right from the get-go. Well, there we go. We'll just put a little torque on that. Probably not the most safe thing to do in the world is just let the tank sit here on a stone floor. But we're pretty darn stable. We're not gonna get blown up. I think we have a better chance in getting electrocuted by this cheap junk welder than we have getting blown up by that tank sitting there on the floor. We're gonna try to do a couple test pieces with. I am not really impressed with the ground cable. That there is only like 4 feet long. I wish it was a little longer, but it is what it is for what we paid. I have no idea what to expect here. I don't know what any of this stuff means. 2T. We're not going to read the directions. Looks like it automatically adjusts the wire speed for you, which is kind of strange. Alright, my first couple impressions are, wow, this thing is doing really good. We're going to turn the power down a little bit. We are getting some pretty good over penetration here. Let's turn this down to like 75 amps and see if it makes a difference. I definitely can't just hold this on because it'll just burn right through the sheet metal. This is actually really impressive. Clean up our width. We're not looking for quality welds right now. We're just trying to see if this thing even works. And I tell you what, we are getting some really good penetration with just, I mean, we're only hitting the trigger for like not even a second. I mean, it's just about burning right through this. I'm not super impressed with this nozzle because all the welding spatter is going to stick. Definitely going to want to use nozzle dip on this nozzle. I much prefer a copper nozzle because all this crap doesn't stick to it, but you get what you pay for. And I have no idea if you'd ever find replacement parts for this thing. We probably want the nozzle to last as long as we could probably get it to last. We are going to try to weld in this brace. We got some spot welds we gotta do. I have no idea how this thing is gonna work. There's only one way to find out now, ain't there? So I did get some nozzle dip I'm gonna use for this project. Should be a straightforward job for pretty much any welder. Say that did a pretty good job. Kind of cut out a few times. That wasn't me letting off the trigger, that was the welder cutting out. Let's do a couple more of these and see how it goes. We're using flux core, so this is definitely a heck of a lot smokier than it has to be. Nice. Excellent. This thing works great. So let's take a look at our welds here. We're doing these plug welds. It's doing a pretty darn good job. Look at that. I mean, we're getting beautiful penetration. I really like this welder. Honestly, as of now, it's almost welding better than my Lincoln is. So we decided we're gonna change something up. I ended up putting the solid core wire in this thing. The flux core wire is so smoky, and being inside this car, it's just killing me. So I decided that I'm gonna put the solid core in it. So being that it did so good with the flux core, we're really gonna see what the test is with this solid core. I think it's gonna work pretty good. So I'm just gonna leave the settings where it was on the flux core and see what happens. Just gonna turn the heat up a little bit. See if that makes a difference. I'm not sure why it keeps stopping like that. I gotta say, this thing is doing a really good job. I'm very impressed on the job this is doing. I am very, very impressed on how this thing works. I mean, these welds are really good. I mean, look at that. There's one that you could just see how nice it flows. It just kind of burns right in. I mean, I'm very impressed with this thing. I tell you what, this thing could definitely give my Lincoln a run for its money. As far as the longevity of it goes and the durability of the machine, I have no idea. We're gonna try the next step. So we got this 220 adapter, and now we are gonna turn this thing back on, hopefully not blow the place up. Oh, it turns on instantly with the 220. Oh, wow. Okay, so none of our settings changed. We're still at 72 amps. Okay, well, usually the 220 welders work a lot better just because you're kind of on two phases and it's usually a lot smoother. So I'm really excited for this. It's either gonna burn this thing up or it's gonna work flawlessly. Okay, here goes the 220 test. And we forgot to turn our gas on. MIG welders usually weld better with gas. It still does that cutout thing. I don't know what that's all about. But you know, about the time it cuts out is about the time I'm going to let off the trigger anyway, because we're only welding sheet metal. We don't want to burn through. It definitely does weld a little bit better with the flux core, which is always the case. Flux core with gas is just the best thing in the world. You know, I gotta say, this thing actually did a much better job when it was on 120. Ever since I put it on 220, I've been having a lot of problems. It seems like the wire has been burning off and sticking to the tip. It just doesn't seem to do as good of a job. The welds aren't really that great. So I think this is working better on 110, to be honest. So what is my final opinion of this $36 cheapest welder on Amazon? Well, we have a few things to talk about. First of all, let's check out the quality of the welds. I've been using this thing for about 2 hours. This is pretty decent heavy gauge sheet metal on these braces right here. I am very, very, very impressed with this thing. I mean, it did these rosette welds beautiful. I had tons of penetration. This thing isn't going anywhere. There's some things I don't like about the automatic kind of setup it does. Basically what you do is you set your amps, it sets the wire speed for you. I wish I could have increased the wire speed slightly, but all in all, I gotta say I am really happy with the quality. We're gonna look at this one over here. This is the second one I did. So there was quite a bit of welding, as you could see, that we had to do on this. And this is fairly clean metal. And I gotta say, it did a really good job. I really don't have any complaints about the quality of the welds. I mean, most of the crappier ones are more or less because I had a hard time getting into the position to get there. But like these ones right here that are easy to get to, it just did beautiful. I had tons of penetration. And I am very happy with the quality. I would absolutely 100% work on a quality project with this. So the bad, my one complaint is the nozzle that they give you. The nozzle that they give you is like just complete garbage, and it just burned right out. The nozzle is just complete junk. I am not happy with that. I'm gonna try to find a replacement nozzle that will work on this. But honestly, that's my biggest complaint. The internals of this thing are really set up pretty well. And what keeps happening is, so when this feeds, it actually turns this nut in, and it actually tightens this spool so tight that it actually affects your quality of weld, and you have to constantly go in here and keep backing this off. But again, they didn't give me any kind of drag feature for the smaller spools. They only provided something for the bigger ones. So those two things are really my biggest complaint with this machine. Other than that, the automatic wire feed and all that stuff, it works really good. I do like that you could switch the polarities on it. I mean, all in all, you really can't beat it for what I paid for this. The only welding I've done with that was just these two braces. There's a lot of welding that I had to do, and it survived, and I think it's on for round 2. 36 bucks, this thing has already paid itself off tenfold. These are some pretty good spools of wire. I mean, these are 30 bucks plus at the store. I mean, there's a lot of wire. This is actually heavy. They don't cheat you when it comes to giving you the wire. But I will say, this thing is gonna find a place in the garage, and absolutely, it's definitely earned its keep at high voltage diesel. If this video is helpful or interesting to you, make sure you do me a favor and subscribe and hit that like button. It's really gonna help me out.
End of transmission.